Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
Good morning, Cayman. Happy Wednesday. It is Hump Day Wednesday, folks. Another beautiful day in paradise. Well, even paradise has its issues. I'm going to be honest with you, honey child. But we'll get to it. Good morning to Jim. I think I got a bill for you. I need to hurry up and pay. Good morning, Marshall. How are you? Hope that everything is well. Wow, we had an eventful night last night, apparently. So we're going to get into that here in a second. Just give me un momento, por favor. Hope that everybody's doing well. We're going to grab our links. We need to get Instagram going. Good morning to our Instagram folks. How are you guys doing? Child, they be over there commenting same way. Oh, I see Curtis has a Facebook post up that he has a solar fan. I guess when the power goes out, you might need those things. Have you guys been having a lot of power outages in Cayman Brac recently? Not so sure why the Brac would need a solar fan. But anyway, good. Always good to have these backup options just in case. You just never know. So, T-minus 2 days for vacation mode to be activated. Who's ready? Who's ready? I know you guys are like, we're not ready for no vacation. We don't want you to go anywhere. But it is what it is, you know? Yep. We all need a vacation. I encourage you guys to take your little time off as well. Evelyn is back all nice and refreshed because she took her amazing vacation. So I'm happy for her. I saw her actually coming back on the plane on Sunday night. She was gone for 2 weeks. That's like a proper vacation, huh? What is all this stuff that people are sending me? What is this stuff? Oh my gosh. Okay, what is this? Okay, looks like we got something going on here I need to share with you all. You know, we try to keep up with the mess and let you guys keep up with it. By extension. Let's get Instagram going here. So we got a lot to talk about today, in fact, and I've got some video footage of Caymanians in Jamaica celebrating, apparently, with the inauguration ceremony, swearing-in ceremony of the Jamaican Prime Minister. Appears that some Caymanians were there. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So every woman knows that before you travel, you've got like a million things that you have to do. You're simultaneously packing, and then you're sorting out all of your stuff, appointments, and you got to get nail done, hair done, because you got to look good when you travel. You can't be traveling and looking like what we call a ragamuffin. No. So I got to tell you all this story from yesterday. If you're on social media, you would have seen it probably. But, I have my medical stuff. You guys know you got to take your little test here and there. And when you're getting a particular age, the doctors might be like, sometimes you start to see things and you got to double check numbers and make sure thyroid functioning properly and all this kind of stuff. So insurance requires you to do your little regular checkups. And, like I always say here in the program, you want to do these things for your own benefit so that you know your numbers. You got to know your numbers. It's important, and I feel like it becomes even more important the older you get. So anyway, I was scheduled to do some blood work. In fact, the funny thing is, I was scheduled to do 2 days worth of blood work, today and tomorrow, for different things. And I made a phone call yesterday when I went for the first one. I said, listen, I'm not really crazy about needles because they always have such a hard time. I'm making a mess here this morning. I'll show you guys in a little bit. They always have such a hard time, like finding an entry point. Like legit, it's a thing with me, and it's always been, really, really difficult. So I don't go out of my way, certainly, to have blood work done. But, I know, hey, you got to do it. You got to do it. So anyway, I said, how about we consolidate? You tell us what you need, make them draw all the blood that they need one time, and then I don't have to go through this again tomorrow. So got the approval. Yep, sounds like a great idea. No problem. Okay, honey child. Well, they started looking. They started looking for any viable vein that they could go into. And so they have this little device. I've never seen these things in my life until yesterday, because it turns out yesterday was a really difficult day to find a vein. And so they took out this little, it's like a light. And basically that'll show them where, it'll show them where a good vein is. So I was like, okay, well, this looks awfully hopeful. I think we're onto something here. Well, they went in once and they went in twice and they thought they had it. And then they couldn't get into it. They were oh so close. They saw a little inkling of blood on the butterfly needle. And this is one of the reasons why, unfortunately, I do not donate blood, because I know that it's so difficult for them to find a vein, right? That, I can't torture myself like that. It'd be probably a little bit too much stress for me. So I'm not a blood donor. I was thinking about last night. I can't even remember what my blood type is. I got to try and get the information. Somebody knows it. Somebody has it on file. But I should know it myself, to be honest. These are types of things that you should really know. Anywho, I had no luck. And I want to do a big shout out. This was there in Grand Harbor Medical Center, I think it's called. Dr. Sydney is there now. Big shout out to Dr. Sydney. He's one of us, one of our people. So proud of him. And so, his team was trying. Dr. David tried. The nurse tried. No luck. One nurse was like, Caymanian's got plenty of sense. She's like, oh no, I'm not drinking Miss Sandy because I don't think we're gonna find anything. And some physicians don't like to use the butterfly needles, but that's what you gotta use with me because, somebody said that's a vein finder for babies. I need that every time too. Oh, really? Yeah, I've never seen it before. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, they brought out their baby vein finder, if you say that's what it is. And they thought that they were kind of seeing some, but then I didn't know a whole lot about veins, and I probably still don't, but they seem to jump around, honey child. They have a mind of their own. So you go in and it was there and then it's gone. It's like moving. I don't have straight veins either. So I'll tell you about that part here in a second. But anyway, so I said, all right, that's enough. I can't take no more juking right now. I had an orthopedic appointment to do my post-op, my 1 month post-op at Health City. So I said, what I'll do is I'll go to Health City, just give me the paperwork. And yes, I will try my best to see if I can just maybe have them do it. So now we're getting into the afternoon hours. Yes. Who's knocking at my door? Oh, you're late this morning. I never realized. How about some eggs for me, please? You have any turkey bacon? So, by this time now it's afternoon. I said, all right, let me call Dr. Benoit because, the truth of the matter is my appointment wasn't until 2:30, but then I kind of had some other stuff going on around 2. So let me see if I can pop in maybe a little bit early. So I messaged Dr. Benoit and he says, yes, Sandy. He says, the person that I want you to see that is absolutely the best with this is Dr. Druva. Like that, he is the best I've ever seen. Now, when you have a top physician like Dr. Benoit saying that Dr. Druva is the best he's ever seen, I'm like, okay, because I know Dr. Benoit has seen a lot. He's seen a lot of physicians and he knows a thing or two. So I was like, okay, well, let's go with that. But unfortunately, he was in a meeting. So he said, alternatively, we can have another, because Dr. Druva is an anesthesiologist. I think he did, if I'm not mistaken, he actually did my anesthesiology for the colonoscopy when I did that. Anyway, I said, okay. Dr. Kirti, who is an anesthesiologist, she can help you out. So I said, okay. So we go in there, child, they bring in the entourage, full entourage of nurses, and the coordinator, the patient coordinator was there, making sure everything was to my satisfaction. And then Dr. I'm trying to get the names right. Kirti comes in. Kirti, I think that's how it's pronounced. And she tries her best. Two more pricks. So now I'm up to 4 pricks. I'm like, Lord Jesus, I can't take no more. Like literally they go in there and they're hunting for these disappearing veins. I'm like, it's not looking too hot. So she says, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do. We are going to bring in, this is like bringing in the big guns now. We're going to bring in the ultrasound machine. And I was like, an ultrasound machine? She said, yep. I said, well, what's an ultrasound machine for? She said, well, that way we can actually find the vein with the ultrasound machine and we use it as we go in, like we're doing a probe, and then we're able to go in and locate it and, it'll help guide us in. I was like, what? An ultrasound machine? I've never heard of such a thing before. She said, yep. That's how we do it for people who are really, really difficult to find their veins. And I thought, wow, okay. So you know me, honey child. I'm like, oh, this is a new experience. We got to record this because I ain't heard nothing like this in my life, honey child. I'm like, what kind of modern technology is this? You know, I'm interested because I like to ask questions. I'm one of those people. Some of y'all, I don't like needles like most people. I'm hoping one day they're going to develop a way of taking blood that requires 0 needles. I won't be holding my breath for that, but I'm like, come on, modern medicine. Come on, AI, figure something out already. Anyway, like I said, I'm not holding my breath for that development because it's not likely to happen. They still got to get that blood from you. But anywho, I said, okay, you know, let's see what this is. So I took out my phone and I started recording this because I'm like, I need to see this. And more importantly, I need to share it with you guys because I'm wondering, am I the only person that is having this kind of difficulty giving up my blood? Like, it can't be. I'm not a vampire. I'm not walking around without any blood, am I? Well, yesterday I was beginning to wonder. I was like, maybe somebody forgot to tell me that I'm low-key a vampire. Anyway, turns out, based on your comments on the video I shared, a lot of you have this problem. This is pretty darn common, in fact, and I clueless, had no idea. So I'm glad I'm not alone. You feel comfort when, you know, even in your misery, other people can understand. They can share it with you. You're not alone, honey child. Oh my God. I was feeling such a way yesterday. And of course, this whole time, didn't have anything to eat. This is after 2 o'clock now. Well, pushing 2 o'clock, after 1. Because, you know, I'm doing a fasting blood test. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I say you're not the only one child.
Oh, hold on, Miss Shelma. For some reason, I gotta turn up my volume. There you go. Hello.
I'm the same thing too.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know about that little machine, but they had to do it. When I went to the hospital, they used to come sometimes. They have come 3 times, 3 different sets of people. Because I don't know, first I used to be easy to get blood, but after I start getting, I'll be at my 60s and whatever, I'm hard. And they say, because I got baby wings. Sometimes they would have to take mine out of my foot.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, because my left hand were the best one for the wings, but and they would be jugging you, and then they would be joking a needle, and afraid needle, but when they be, you know, twisting that wrong, and then what happened? Sometimes mine starts to flow, and then it collapse before they stop, and I tell them, I'm going to suck out, because then they can't use that blood, get a bit, and they got to discard that, and I say, I'm not going to have no blood, and I'll give me a transfusion.
Really? So if it collapses, they can't use what they've taken already?
No, well, and they said that it's not enough and they have to, I call it. Only one time I see them take one little bit and then they shake it up, whatever, and they put it into the thing. And sometimes it'll be all 4 and 3 of them little wires that they got to get from me.
God, they had to take like 20 from me yesterday, I swear. Oh my God, I had to give so much blood too. I was
like, but I don't know. And they say, but I got baby wings now. I say, well, I'm going to be turning a baby now. So, but don't you know,
yeah.
They used to come in the morning, and then they'll come back midday. Then they'll make me drink a lot of water, and then, but you know, they say that you gotta get I think I got fast, I guess, but if you gotta get blood test and you got fast, my sister say in the States, the doctor tells you must drink water, and they say the water helps you. Must be,
well, you have to be, yeah. Apparently, what I have learned is that veins are not as prominent if you're dehydrated. So sometimes, you know, that's what they were asking me. Is this a situation where you could be dehydrated? And I said, well, anything's possible because I know I don't drink enough water, but I've been trying. But yesterday I had drank some before and I was continuing to drink some, and they're like, okay, drink some more. And child, nothing wasn't happening. It just wasn't coming.
Sometimes some of these old blood tests is fasting and all of that. But then
well, that's what I had to do. I had to do because, you know.
The water, not when no food, the water, not that bad. But I don't feel no way me and you the same thing.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Bring different people and different people and different people. I say, Lord Jesus, look at him.
I know. Ugh.
And then I get black
And
and blue.
I don't like people making a fuss over me either. So it was kind of like a bit much yesterday, but what a mess. Thank you, my darling.
So they prick me, gets black and blue. Sometimes I have 3 and 4 black and blues all over me.
Yeah, I got a couple bruises this morning myself, chill. What a mess.
Yeah, but do feel no, we have the same thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I feel like this morning I can see a few, but I don't know.
And I was seeing that little machine before. They bring the ultrasound thing to find mine. Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah,
before.
the other one, I guess, is the more rudimentary way of just trying to shed some light and look through the skin. But the ultrasound machine appears to be the gold standard. Yeah.
But I hate when people go do blood tests. I say, Lord Jesus, I gotta get more pricks now. And all right.
Thank you, my dear.
I'm going to dentist today. Now I'll get prick again.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh my gosh. Another experience that none of us likes. Going to the dentist. I feel
like 1 million inches thick. But I gotta go.
Thank you, my darling.
Life is a hassle. Sometimes I get so stressed because I start doing that, and I just feel like rolling up one corner because I don't know. I'm stressed out badly. So much things, so much. Every day you wake up is a different thing that you see that you can get in life. Or you say you got to fight it out to keep it in, but sometimes it's hard.
I know. Don't stress yourself, though. Stress kills you, so just take it easy.
They get old and whatever, and I don't my 70s, oh Lord, I don't know how much more I'm going to people. But you live like your mama or you live like your grandmother, so I don't think so.
Well, even getting to your 70s, it's a blessing.
My mother was 98, and her mother was 103, 90s, but I don't know if I'm good how long. And then one of my other grandmother was 99, 96.
Oh, you got good genes in the family.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm good how long, though. I don't know. But I feel older than my mother right now, and I want to say I'm the one. For 95, and still down. I can barely walk.
Oh, Lord. I feel you. All right, my dear. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
All right, hon. Okay, bye-bye. Okay. So, yes, I mean, I'm getting so many messages. Everybody's like, me too. You're not alone, girl. Wow. I mean, I feel better knowing that I'm not alone. But yeah, this was pretty wild. I tell you, this is the first time that they couldn't get any blood. It was just like, oh my gosh. So she said, all right, we're going to try one more time, but we're not going in without an ultrasound machine. So I said, an ultrasound machine? She explained it to me. One thing I like, right, is when physicians really kind of explain things to you, because sometimes physicians just come and do whatever. I'm a person that likes to go to know what's going on. Hear Johan about you're cold-blooded. Johan, you're so funny. Actually, somebody else was saying to me, well, you're cold? Because if you're too cold, was it too cold or too warm? Which one was it? I think they said if you're too cold, that makes the veins hide or something too. I mean, yeah. Well, Sky says Dr. Sidney didn't get it. That's pretty bad because he's the best. Actually, he didn't try. So I think he was kind of pushed aside while other people, Dr. David tried, and then Nurse Lizette, I think is her name, she tried. So Dr. Sidney, by the time Dr. Sidney came back, I think I was like done. I was like, listen, y'all not pricking me again. So it was a rough day yesterday. So she said, all right, we're going to bring out the big guns. And then she explained to me why. Like I said, I like to know what you're doing to me and pricking me up and, give me the deets, give me all the details. And so she said, yes, this is how we're going to do it. And, she's like, it's not as uncommon as you might think. Cause of course they see it all in their profession. And so I said, okay, I guess if we don't have a choice, she's like, yeah, we're not going to touch you again unless we get in there. And so this will ensure. So she gets the ultrasound machine, and right away I started asking questions because I want to know. I'm going to share some of this with y'all. I was like, what is this? And I'm looking because y'all not going to be juking me and I'm not looking. So look at this. This is so interesting, right? Hold on. Look at this. I'm going to share some of this with y'all now. Okay. So this is the ultrasound machine, the portable ultrasound machine. So fancy. And she brought it in and
See
she's
them
looking at,
collapsing there. Those
Yeah.
are your veins. Yeah.
she said they're collapsing. I'm like, what? Yeah. So she could see them and they were collapsing. They weren't very.
Just make sure it's your veins, not the arteries. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And then, of course, I was like, oh, yes, arteries are there too. Well, what's the difference between a vein and an artery? You know, me asking questions like I'm in school.
that's a little smaller, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then she showed me the artery on there, which was pretty cool. She's like, oh, no, the arteries are pumping like this. And I guess you don't go into an artery for blood. So I was just like, oh,
And I have the
Wow.
ultrasound to this side.
so, you know, one was holding
Okay.
the arm in
This one?
place.
The other side. Okay.
Yeah.
The other one was,
We doubly.
she was doing the
Yeah.
ultrasound, Dr.
Just
Kirti.
hold this.
And then they started to get everything ready. Of course, got to make sure the area is ready.
It might still hurt a bit, Sandra. I'm sorry.
Aw.
Those ultrasound guided.
I apologize
Okay.
in advance for the pain that's coming. And then here we go. The butterfly needle.
Is it too hard?
I'm hopeful.
Yes, child.
Don't press
Now
it
look
deep.
at what
Time,
happens.
fingers crossed.
She goes in. But this person says,
Okay,
I
this
can't
is-
look. Oh, I be looking, honey, child. I want to see where y'all jigging me. So she went in and then couldn't find it. Now look at literally how long it takes her based on she's looking back at the ultrasound machine. So she's in there, but she's trying to hunt for it and she keeps having to move the needle around. That's just how, and of course y'all can hear me breathing hard. 'Cause I'm like, just grin and bear it, girl. You're a big girl now. You, I'm like, oh Lord Jesus. And then she's like, okay, I think we're getting it. Get the vials ready. Get the vials ready.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Then she told the young lady, okay, we're in. Get the vials ready.
Oh my God.
And then it started to flow. And can I tell you,
Oh, yeah.
I swear I had to do like 15 or 20 vials. So
Yes.
she
You're in?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So the whole time
This is
she was
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
can be.
so much.
I was so glad. This is like the fifth prick now.
Okay. Take as much as you need because
Yeah.
we're not going back in again anytime soon.
Yeah, honey, child, listen, I was like, we're doing this once for the next 6 months. So yeah. So she was in. Now I'm gonna fast forward this. Go online, you can see. But look at how much, let's fast forward. Look at how much blood they actually had to end up taking. Let me see if we can look at this. Look at all of those vials. Can we count them? It's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I missed one on the side. That looks about 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. 15 vials. I'm like, I at one point I said to her, what's the maximum that you can take? Because I feel like this has got to be it. So she's like, don't worry. We got you. Because apparently, I mean, I'm thinking you take 1 drop of blood. Can't you use that to test for all these different things? Well, apparently not. So each vial is, I guess, designated for a different type of test. So like if you're doing your, I don't know, what's it called, lipids or whatever, like maybe 1 vial is for that and 1 vial is for something else. And it's like, whoa, it's a lot. But this whole experience yesterday really, really reminded me. I mean, here's I can show you the ultrasound machine again. So, you know, she took it out. I was so glad to be done. But this reminded me of how incredibly thankful we have to be for nursing professionals. I'm going to be honest with you. It was not a nice experience. I was, you know, tapped and prodded and poor nurse Lizette, she even got the blood pressure cuff. So she was trying to old fashioned method, I guess. I'd never seen that used either, where she was like, you know, if they take the blood pressure cuff and they pump it up and put pressure on the arm, that might help them to pop. All that we were doing yesterday and nothing was working. Like literally, it just wasn't flowing. It was crazy. And so there's that little fancy ultrasound machine that eventually came to the rescue. Liz says you need to drink more water. Girl, I'm trying, but yesterday I drank a lot. I was drinking beforehand and I was drinking after, but I had my tea in the morning and I didn't want to drink any tea because I wasn't sure even if Although I think teas might dehydrate you, but I didn't drink any yesterday because I didn't want anything else in my system for a fasting test other than water. So it's a struggle, and I'll continue to do my best with the water. See my big jug of water here today? Let me show y'all. I have to add ice to it because I do find it difficult to drink water. But here we are. Cheers to water, to wonderful nurses, competent doctors, because they really, really did their best yesterday. And I do think it was just me. And so I'm so glad that eventually, take a sip. Eventually, they were able to get in there and get it all sorted out. But yes, oh, Miss Lisa, oh my gosh, it was next level ridiculous. Like I said, all of this was new to me yesterday. All of these gadgets and ways that they try to really find a vein, and it just wasn't happening. Now, I have made an observation. Somebody said about competent nurses. I don't think anybody yesterday was incompetent. It's just different methods everybody was trying. But when I used to have to give blood, and I used to go to HSA, there was a guy there, a Jamaican guy. I don't think he's there anymore, but he was actually very, very good at finding a vein. And he was in and out, boom, and he used to get it done. So Al Ray says, side effects of not losing that 50 pounds. Well, I would agree with you, and I'm sure adding weight doesn't help, but I've always had this issue, even before I had the 50 pounds. So even when I was a little skinny mini and literally had my collarbones sticking out because I was so skinny, it was the exact same problem. So I think that some people, regardless of their weight, El Ray, and I'm not denying that I'm fat and happy, but we're going to deal with the 50 pounds once the knee's solid. I will not deny that no excess weight is good for you. Visceral fat surrounding your organs isn't good for you. So I get you. All these fit people be in the comment section, like, oh, that never happens to me. So somebody sent me a thing yesterday with people, and there are people, I've seen people who have really, 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 really good veins, regardless of their size. They just pop in like, I don't know, they're having a vein party. So kudos to that. I mean, now that I know that so many people have this issue, I'm just like, wow. I think next time I go in, I'm just going to be like, look, bring the ultrasound machine from now, because we ain't going to do this too much. This person says, after getting nothing from both hands, they tried the back of my hand. The back of your hand. Where's the back? You mean like the hand itself? Like here or where? Child, they were flipping me all over. They were looking on the sides here. They tried here and here, 2 times over here. Sometimes they can go in here, but I think they don't like to go in on the arm itself. So when I went in, a month ago to do my knee surgery, the nurse had first put one here that was actually very, very painful. And Dr. Benoit is so observant. Oh gosh, I love Dr. Benoit. He's so amazing. He came in to see me before surgery. We wanted to chat a little bit. And he noticed that I didn't actually say anything to him, but he noticed, this is when you have good doctor bedside manners. He noticed I seemed like I was a little bit uncomfortable. He said, oh, is that bothering you? And I said, yeah, it is actually a little bit painful. And he told the nurse, because they were kind of switching shifts when I came in. So I had one nurse initially, and then she left and the other nurse came in. And he told that nurse, he said, take it out. We don't want her to be in any kind of discomfort. Just take it out. So she actually took it out. He said, just leave her alone until she goes into the operating theater. And then the anesthesiologist will do it. And sure enough, when I went in there were like 3 anesthesiologists waiting for me. I told you guys about the one with the nice, pretty blue eyes. Good thing I ain't single. But anywho, so, they were like, okay, we think the other arm is better. It didn't take them too long to get in though. So I guess anesthesiologists, they're doing it multiple times a day. That's all they do, is finding a point and going in, honey child. So yeah, they went in, and they didn't even tell me to count down, child. They were like, oh, in just a second, you're going to be. And I was like, woke up later, like, what happened? So big shout out to doctors and nurses. Y'all are amazing. And like I said, all this fancy medical equipment. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Can you imagine back in the day when they didn't have an ultrasound machine and they had to go in and they couldn't find a vein? What poor people back then used to go through? I'm all about living in the 21st century. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. That's why I love me some modern medicine. This person says there's a lab tech at Health City, Camana Bay, named Regina. She is really good. When she does my blood, I don't feel the needle and she listens to what you say. You see, that's important. Yeah, into the knuckle. Yeah, I feel you. Yep, because that's where they went in initially. I had twice, both arms yesterday, got a little juke there too, and they still couldn't find it. But I'll keep drinking my water. Is this in Cayman? No way. What? Okay, I got something to show y'all. Is that really here? The only reason I think it's here is because the chicken. Listen, these chickens are everywhere. Let me show y'all something. Whoa, this is crazy. And the license plate. Hold on. Is this a recent photo? It looks like an old license plate, but it's kind of hard to tell. Oh no, this is recent. You know how I know this is recent? I'm going to show y'all. Oh my God, this is crazy. 1 second. This is like a wild photo. Okay. Let me do a quick social media post. Oh. Okay. I got it. Listen, when you have to write a social media post on the fly and you're trying to make it like witty and interesting all at the same time, honey child, it takes talent. All right, I'm going to post this and then you guys are going to see it on social media, but I'm going to show you. Those of you who are here in the mornings, y'all know y'all be getting the sweet stuff. Y'all be getting the good stuff. This person says, I feel bad for you. Oh, it's okay. Because then after that, I was like, oh my God. They're like, do you want to go eat upstairs? And I was like, no, I got to run to an appointment. I got to pick up Marlon. We got some stuff to do. We're like really busy this week because of traveling and some other stuff that we're working on. So I was like, no, I'm sorry. I ain't got time for that. I got to go. And so, yeah, we had to go. We had to go. So, big shout out to nurses and doctors. That's all I wanted to say this morning. They're amazing. They're truly amazing. Thank you guys so much. All right. I think I'm going to have to customize this. Let's see. I kind of feel like, okay. All right. Look at this picture. This is so wild. Reminds me when Cayman is not a real place. Look at this. For our radio listeners who can't look, this is a BMW car that has somehow ended up in the ocean. Not fully submersed, but nonetheless, that looks like that's, ocean touching them back wheels for sure. And it's right by how I knew. At first I was like, is this Cayman? Or is this recent? And I know it's recent because the little wheelchair mat that takes you down, they need to do a better job of keeping those in better condition too. Because if it's covered with sand, it probably doesn't really help wheelchair people. I'm just saying. But there it is. And of course, there's a chicken right in the photo because they're everywhere, even at the beach. There's a rooster, looks like, checking it out. He's probably like, what in tarnation is going on here? How did this BMW end up down in the ocean? So there you go. Yes, sir. What a heat. All right. Few comments coming in this beautiful morning. Let me see here now. Honey chow. And then we're going to talk about the shooting last night. Is he still live? All right. This person says, good morning, TD. I have the same problem. I too had to get 2 bags of blood to go into me for an operation. They got a little vein. We had started swelling up, and then they had to find another vein. Long story short, it took 5 hours, no lie. And finally, they said they would have to try and find it in the operating theater, go there, and still they could not find my vein. That bag of blood was no good to get in me. They ended up putting it in my jugular. Is that the one in the neck? I was so tortured from that when I came through the operation. I was trying to get to heaven, laughing out loud. Oh my God, that sounds horrible, actually. That's one of the biggest challenges at the hospital, to find a vein. I asked the doctor why that is. He said it's you went through a lot of trauma. Over 5 years, I was traumatized, no lie. I dread when I go to do blood work. Just like medications don't work long for me. Wow, that sounds horrible, actually. The jugular. Oh, Lord Jesus. One time I was supposed to get blood. And I must tell you that nurse, that was HSA, she did not do a very good job with the vein as well. And so I didn't have much patience, and I told her to please take it out. And then she came back and I said, no, ma'am, no. You're not going to go at me again. It was kind of her attitude, though. Like, I just got a bad vibe from her. When a patient is like this and you can't find a vein and that sort of thing, don't complicate the situation with a stinking attitude. Nurses and doctors, this is where now attitude is everything. So I found that she was kind of coming with an attitude, and I was like, I said, ma'am, this was after surgery I had. I said, ma'am, no, thank you. You know, when your kid's trying to be respectful, but at the same time, you like kind of getting on their nerves, but they say, no, thank you, mommy. They're saying it very forceful because they're not playing. They're like, no, thank you. They still gonna say no thanks, but they're like, it's a tone of voice. No, thank you, ma'am. That was me. And then she get vexed with me. You're making blood go to waste. This was from the blood bank. And I was like, Kirks? I'm like, I'm a sick patient now. I just had surgery. My tolerance level not really there. Find me another nurse. You two-faced thing. One lady from Jamaica. I was like, she's too rude. But you know, when I'm in there, I'm like, listen, I'm honestly not pissing off no nurses, because let me tell you something. You are at their mercy. Once you just had surgery, you were a compromised girl. Next thing you know, they come and do something to you up in there. What are you going to do? So I'm the sweetest little thing. I'm like, hello. I'm not pissed. I just told her, no, that's okay. Please don't touch me again. And she was just like, now you're wasting blood. And I was like, Kirks. Well, we're going to have to go without the blood transfusion. So I didn't do the blood transfusion. And I was fine. Maybe it took a little bit more time for whatever blood cells or whatever platelets to regenerate or whatever, but I did not take the blood transfusion. I was like, nope, no thanks. Not the way she was roughing me up. Barbara says, I have a problem with some nurses saying that you can have water when fasting, but others saying that you cannot, which is correct. Well, evidently you can have water. But it depends on what you're fasting for, Barbara. So I think there is a distinction. So when you're fasting for blood work, like you need to do like your blood sugar fasting, A1C, whatever. Trying to drink my water today, honey child. You can drink water for that. If you're fasting for the purposes of surgery, you can only have something up until like normally if it's an early morning surgery, you have to wait until like midnight or whatever. So you have to time it. Because again, this is a good question for like an anesthesiologist. I'm sure they would explain it better. But basically, you know, when they go in, they put you under, they have to be able to control every little thing. So even water can impact the drugs that they're giving you to keep you under. So normally they tell you when you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, whatever, spit that out. Don't try to swallow anything because every little bit can be impactful. So they tell you can have a little sip, but not very much because they don't want you trying to, drink a whole gallon of water before you go in there. Yep, we got it. Aisle 2025. All right, let's get it. Joyride gone wrong, says Aliana. Right? Y'all see that picture? That's so crazy. Valerie says, I think you can have water while fasting because water doesn't have nutrients. And I was kind of thinking about this too, right? I was like, could I have drank some coconut water? Because man, I can drink coconut water by the gallon. But as Dr. Sidney reminded me, he's like, well, coconut water is actually like a diuretic. And that's true. That's why you go to the bathroom so much. Remember one day I was asking that question. I'm like, why is it that when you drink coconut water, you got to be running to the bathroom? That runs right through you. And I don't think that you want the sugar from the coconut water, especially if you're doing like a fasting sugar test and all this kind of stuff. So no water, no coconut water. But yes, water. That's right, Jim. Water. Okay. So we had a shooting last night. Wow. Just when you think things are nice and quiet around, y'all have to go and mess things up. So yes, we had a shooting. And I have some video footage. If you're super sensitive, look away. Let me see here now. Thank you so much. I've been trying to drink more beet juice too. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. For Kirks. So beet juice is good for a lot of things, but if you're going to have juice, don't have anything added to it. Juices are a bit funny, especially with people who have sugar, like any kind of, like you're trying to watch your glucose levels and stuff. Drinking smoothies and that sort of thing is actually the worst thing that you can have happen. Because it goes straight into like your bloodstream, basically. So I love me a smoothie, but I have honestly been trying to stay away from them. Come, Miss Stacy, because they're actually not good for you. They spike your sugar in a way that, in fact, when you listen to the experts, it's one of the worst things that you can do if you're concerned about your sugar levels is have a smoothie, because it extracts all of the fiber. So you get zero benefit of the fiber. And all you're getting is like straight sugar. And let's be honest, most of us love the smoothies that are like fruit based. So we love blueberry, banana, mango, papaya. None of us really drinking green smoothies. And so the advice is don't drink your food, eat your food. So y'all like, oh yes, I feel so good because I had a green smoothie. I put in spinach and it's not just eat a bowl of spinach. There's a whole logic behind it in terms of your digestive tract, how you get the nutrients, how important the fiber is. Because when you juice it, you're extracting the fiber, which is the most important thing actually, right? So you lose a lot of nutrients trying to juice it. So don't juice your food, eat your food. And then also, juicing doesn't really fill you in the same way that eating it does. So I think it was Shamari and I were having this conversation. Like if you had to get a glass of juice, apple juice, right? Natural apple juice, you have to get like, say, 6 to 10 apples to get that much apple juice. And so you would never sit down and eat 6 to 10 apples. You'd eat one apple and you'd be saturated, you'd be full. And you get the fiber, you get the fruit, you get all the benefits, right? But just to get the juice, which is pure sugar, really, you're not doing yourself any service. And by the way, for those of you who think that drinking juices, my husband's one of these people, oh, let's have a juice instead of a Pepsi, don't do it. It's really no better. The sugar, right? So you think, oh, I'm going to have a canned apple juice or, they come in the bottles, whatever. and you think that's better for you, it isn't. You're still getting tons of sugar overload. So I've been trying my best. Y'all know I love a Pepsi for real, but I've been trying my best to give them up as much as I can. And I've been trying to stick to water and tea. And I don't drink coffee. I've never liked coffee. I don't like the taste of coffee. I don't like the smell of coffee. I can't get into coffee. And occasionally I will have the non-alcoholic beverage as a treat, which is basically like having a juice, but you know what I mean. All right. So yes, there was a shooting. I didn't say a shootout. I said there was a shooting, Miss Ramelia. By the way, guess who? I see somebody messaging me here. Scott, I saw your lovely daughter yesterday. I don't know why I think you're so much younger than you are. She's like, you know my dad. He's a fan. I said, oh, yes. He's always messaging me privately. I guess, Scott, you're actually a grandpa. You look pretty young for being a grandpa, I must say. But yep, he's got a daughter. She's like, that's my dad. I was like, aw, I like him. He's so nice. But yes, good morning, Milo is the only thing we don't give up. Driver of an accident by refuel in town. Oh, that was yesterday's show. Oh, I missed that one. Sorry. Totally missed your message. Uh-oh. That roundabout. I got to show y'all a video in a second here about that roundabout because I've been meaning to post them, but I've been so busy. Y'all don't know how to use roundabouts, and I'm not surprised that there is an accident there. I'm going to show y'all this one. Hold on. I just saw this message. This was sent in yesterday, but I'm so sorry. I missed it. Bad drivers. Let me see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it because boy, reminds me of why some of y'all should not have a license. I mean, like legitimately, someone needs to just take your license away from you because y'all don't know how to drive. I'll find it. Thank God for my dash cam footage, child. My dash cam be working overtime for y'all bad drivers. All right, I'll see if I can. I will see if I can find it. Okay, I have it around here somewhere. I know I went as far as like downloading it, and then somehow I forgot to put it up. Okay, so let's get back to that. We'll come back, but I want to show y'all how bad y'all are driving out here in these streets. So yes, I had last night I was kind of low key. My mother-in-law's here, so welcome, Mama. She's here. You know, she's gonna stay and hold down the fort with Miss Stacy. Really, so Miss Stacy can get a little break. When we're away, you know, we can't have her working 24/7. I know some of y'all don't care because I see some of y'all with the bad drive with the you have your helpers be working 24/7 shifts, and I'm like, Lord have mercy, everybody needs a little break. Anyway, so yes, she's here, and we were kind of just relaxing, you know. Marlon's friends, our friends, I shouldn't say his friends, our friends, come over and, you know, paying their respects, seeing her, saying hello, so glad you're here, that kind of thing. You know, Jamaicans don't travel without bringing something. So she brought fish, fried fish, and pork, and this and that, and, you know, that's how Jamaicans roll. They're not coming empty-handed now. So anyway, we were just sitting here, you know, liming, having a good time. Next thing I got a message, ooh, Sandy, there was a shooting. First I got a message saying, ooh, something's going down by School Road area, Georgetown, School Road, off of Mary Street. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And then shortly after that, I said, well, keep an ear out for me. Let me know what's going on. They're like, oh, yeah, there was a shooting. I was like, a shooting? What? Now, we haven't had a shooting in a minute. So I was kind of like, what's going on? So first they said the person was dead. And then I was like, keep an ear open and tell me what else you're going to hear. So as it turns out, the next source came in and said, this person got shot in the rear end. And I was like, well, that's an unusual place to shoot a person. Not for nothing, but you're probably just not a good shot. And they're like, yeah, well, they got shot because they were stealing from someone. This is the story. They were stealing from someone, and then they tried to run away afterwards. And I guess the person just shot him. I was like, yeah, y'all are crazy in these streets. So I'm going to show you the video. Like I said, don't look if you're particularly squirmish. If you're listening to radio, it's not that bad. The audio isn't that bad, I should say. So the good news is this video demonstrates, I know y'all like, people don't help each other anymore. You know, we live in a society where they be crazy and this and that. But I can tell you that these people actually stepped up to the plate. Yeah, this is showing them helping. They're putting pressure on it. They're trying to get a t-shirt. Look. You know, ambulance hadn't arrived yet. Yeah, man. I don't know who that is. Could be a little Filipino fella there helping to put pressure. A little Jamaican fellow is helping him too. The two guys in the green shirt. Yeah, man, they're trying to help him. So I think he's okay. I mean, I haven't heard that he's dead, so I doubt he's really dead. So they were just putting pressure on it until the authorities could get there. And good for them for trying to help him out. Just be careful, though, because you don't want to be touching people's blood and stuff like that. I'm just saying. I know y'all don't walk around with gloves, but just be careful that you're not exposing yourself to people's fluids, because that's a whole other class. But, you know, somebody looked like they had a towel or a shirt or something, and they were trying to put pressure on it and trying to help him. And he looks like, you know, he was holding his head up. So I guess he wasn't too bad. So if the story is true that you were stealing from someone, young man, make that be a lesson. Don't steal from people. That's all I'm going to tell you. Okay. Because people might not take too kindly to your thievery. So hopefully he's okay. I don't even know if the police have released anything as yet in relation to this. Not a fatal shot, someone says. Because I know if they hit a major anything, it could have been, regardless of where it's at. In some cases, might cause brain damage. I mean, is that a joke? Are you being funny? I can't quite read that one. I feel like Gigi right now. Are you joking? So someone says, heard that the shooting last night was near a gambling spot. Seemed like he went to rob them. Oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Why y'all like to be robbing the gambling people? Because listen, if people are sitting down gambling, I suspect they probably know that they are high risk for, you know, y'all trying to do something to them. And so, quite frankly, they're more likely to be armed than anybody else. I'm just saying. They're carrying on illegal activity. They themselves are going to be armed and ready. No, sir. You're not too bright. Here's another video that we got. This just shows, I guess, when the ambulance and police came and the police were on the scene. Y'all gotta do a better job now with the videography. Y'all are getting slack with these videos, man. At least they tried to zoom in a little bit. Listen, don't be afraid to get right up there. I mean, I see police tape like around where it happened, but there was plenty of space between you. You could have gone up by that first pole. Let me give you a word of advice. Despite what some officers may say, you can get as close as you want as long as you're not interfering with the investigation. So once they put up the tape and they've taped off the scene, you can get closer if you want. They can't stop you. You're my citizen reporters. You guys have a job to do. So, yeah, you know, I'm just saying. Sean, I think that was his name at HSA. He's a Jamaican guy that works in the blood lab. And like I said, I haven't been there in a minute, so I haven't seen him, but I'm not sure if he's still here. But yes, Abby says, I don't support gambling, but a legal regulated system would avoid most of this violence. I don't actually agree with you, Abby. I don't think that there's any evidence that has been put forward. And I encourage you guys to go do the research, because prove me wrong. But the little research that I've done, there's no evidence that legal state-run gambling is going to impact the illegal gambling. None at all. People are still going to be, no. This guy was a Jamaican fella, as far as I remember. In the lab? No, man, he wasn't Caymanian. He was Jamaican. But I don't think that that's going to put one dent in what you see going on. People are still going to legally gamble. And there are benefits to legal gambling that you won't get from the legal system. So I know the government hasn't yet made any steps at all in terms of implementing it. But, you know, first of all, it's going to cost a ish load of money. You don't set up proper gambling that is audited, et cetera, without spending millions of dollars. And you're spending that to encourage your citizens to pick up another bad habit. I'm not really pro gambling like that. I mean, listen, I go to the States the other day, what do you call it? The Powerball was up to how many $1 billion? Yeah, I spent $25. I'm like, here, go buy me some tickets. Let's see if I can't win a couple $1 billion. So I can set up some NPOs and stuff. But for our little small island, I think there's a lot of things that are unique to us that are different that I honestly don't support. So somebody says, don't you buy lottery in America? It'd be the same here. Yeah, it's not the same for me, though. The United States of America, not for nothing, but, there are people who have gambling problems, and you have to set up NPOs to now help with the gambling problems. Making it widely accessible to me is not the solution. And there's no evidence, like the reason that people are arguing, oh, it's going to put a dent in illegal gambling. I don't think that it is. Even in America, it hasn't. There's still bookies. There's still people betting on, and you guys see them, getting in trouble and all of a sudden get kicked off of football teams and all this kind of stuff. The illegal gambling is still a big business. They've got illegal gambling websites and all sorts of stuff. So the logic that people are trying to use isn't logical. The math ain't mathin'. And then to know that we have to spend all this money setting that up when we're hemorrhaging money and we need money for other things, I just can't justify it. I voted against it. And yeah, I mean, if other countries want to do it, that's their business. As Aunt Lottie says, if somebody go jump off a bridge, are you going to do that as well and follow suit? We don't have to do everything that everybody else is doing. Clearly, not really working that well for them. So, they tout the figures of how much it has injected money into education. And at the same time, nobody talks about the cost of it from the perspective of gambling, et cetera, setting up gambling thing. I mean, listen, you drive in the States, you see the big sign. If you're a gambling addict, call 1-800 no more gambling or whatever. So you got to put all those things in place. You can't just put gambling in and be like, oh, well, we're going to ignore people now who are going to have ready access to this and have more addicts out here stealing money from work, from their government jobs, et cetera, in order to support their gambling habit.
So somebody says, "Good morning, Mrs. Hale. If you're talking about Sean Clark, he's Canadian but has Jamaican descent. He worked HSA laboratory in the capacity of the phlebotomist, then moved to the cardiology unit. He's Canadian? Wow. I always thought he was Jamaican. He has a Jamaican accent, right? Someone says, what's happening with the staff or a tourist board, etc. Well, Mr. Chucky had a meeting, and so I'm waiting to get some details on that meeting to see, what went down. They not fired Patrick yet, I guess, because I'm supposing I would have heard that. Yes, it's Sean. He's the one I have to see to help me since he's the only one who can find a vein. He's Caymanian Jamaican. Okay. Well, there you go. I always thought he was Jamaican. He's working in the morgue now, says someone. They thought he was Jamaican too. In the morgue? What y'all gonna put that man in the morgue for? Bring him back to the lab. Somebody said, was he fair skin or dark? I'm the worst Caymanian for this sort of thing because I gotta be honest with you. I know Caymanians see things in shades of color, and I really don't. When somebody's like, well, Sandy, what she look like? Was she high yellow? Was she disco? I'm like, say what? I don't know. I have to think really hard. I think he was fair skinned, but don't hold me to it because I don't know. I just don't see shades of color. I know he wasn't white. That's all I can tell you. And even white people, I mean, some of them I'd be like, were they really white? I'm like, ask me other things about them first before you ask me about their skin color, because I'm the worst. If you say to me, oh, are you more fair skinned than this cousin or this person? I would be like, I don't know. I got to see us side by side. I just don't see. Yeah, I'm not that person. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with it. I mean, you'd have to be an extreme. I mean, obviously, if he was really, really, really dark, then I'd be like, no, he's a really dark guy. But if he wasn't, I'm just like, whatever. Anyway, they moved him to the morgue. Why? Who volunteers to work in the morgue? I mean, not for nothing. I'm sure it's quiet. It better be quiet. Let me put it that way. You start to hear anything up in there, you got a problem. Damien says he's brown skin, coolie looking. Is he? I don't know. I mean, if you say so. Hi, Brown, says Barbara. Y'all can come up. Y'all can come up with some tones of colors. High yellow. The first time I heard somebody talking about somebody high yellow, remember, what's his name? He sent me a voice note during COVID. He'd gotten a fight with somebody over his phone. His name is Levon Button. And he sent me one voice note, vexed about how I posted him up because it showed his bonky. The shorts were like pulled down so you could see the little butt crack, You better take that down of my high yellow behind. And I was like, high yellow? What is high yellow exactly? When I look at the Crayola, that's what it's called, right? Crayola box of crayons. I don't see no color in there. And I got the one that has a million colors in it, like the pencils and stuff, because y'all know I'm all about adult coloring and that sort of thing. I do not see a color in there called high yellow. So you Caymanians better tell me what the heck color that is. Because I want to know. Strong Will says fair skin. I think his parents are Jamaicans. Andrea says, which Sean is this? The one that stripped my tree and sell them back? No, I don't think that would be him. No. I don't think he'd be doing that. What you say? Somebody strip your tree and then sell them back to you? Lord Jesus, what a hot mess. No, sir. Y'all be cracking me up. Legit, y'all make me laugh. All right, here's this person's comment on WhatsApp. I love that you guys comment and then we can just screenshot it, screen grab it. Honey chill. So this person says, Sean was the best. Brown skin, like coffee with lots of cream. You see, y'all just getting me with these descriptions now. Coffee with lots of cream. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know Marlon is. I'm trying to envision this. All right. By the way, the hospital is running certification for persons to become phlebotomists. Really? Quick, short course to become qualified. Yeah, y'all go take that after a week. You're not coming and juking me. Malata. That Malata? No, it's called mulatto. Jillian, good morning, says I'm having hysterics here in the UK. Oh, honey child. The things that we get into. Hi, Yellow. What? Somebody educate me this morning. Here's another comment. Instagram, y'all okay over there? I'd be forgetting to check the Instagram messages, so let me just make sure. Not coming in. Good morning to all of our Instagram followers. All right, hold on. Got some more comments coming in. So go and check it out. Well, we have that in common. Don't ask me the color. I can say he was dark or light brown or white. Child, I can't even tell you that much sometimes. Someone says he loves being in the morgue. And people are probably talking him to death up in the up in the lab. Yes, he speaks with a Jamaican accent, but he's Caymanian. He was also a founding member of the band, The Juveniles. We have a band called The Juveniles? Okay. Wow. So y'all can do a phlebotomy technician certification course. Wow. Maybe I should go do that so I can figure out how to juke myself. Speaking of juking myself, you know, I say this every time, but this is no joke. If somebody ever says to you, oh, we found Sandra down in the bushes with some needles in her arm, you know I was killed and it was not an overdose. Don't believe them. Launch a full-scale call in Scotland Yard's investigation. Call in the FBI. Well, does the U.S. have FBI anymore? I think Trump has disbanded everybody. Call in somebody. Scotland Yards will do. Because you know that's a lie. Child, I could never be an intravenous drug user. No. There's no veins to be found for that kind of business. I don't even know how people do that to themselves. Oh my God. Sia says, I don't believe that. If someone robbed or attacked you and you saw what they look like, you'd find a shade of color real fast. You know what? That's actually not true, Sia. One of the worst things that you can do is get an eyewitness statement from someone who is actually a victim or a bystander. Victims and bystanders are highly, and I do mean highly, what's the word I'm looking for? They're highly They are highly, what's the word I'm looking for? They are highly inaccurate. That could be it. That wasn't what I was going to say, but that'll work. Eyewitness testimony from scenes of crimes, horrible evidence. They should always be taken with a big jar of salt. Oh yes, see ya. I'm 1,000%. Let me tell you something. You need to go and read a book called The Gorilla Experiment, I think it's called. Let me check my electronic library. The Invisible Gorilla. This book, and I've talked about this years ago on here. It's published in 2010, but it's still a very, very good book. And it talks about how the name of the book is The Invisible Gorilla, and how our intuition deceives us. This has been tested time and time again, Sia. I'm telling you, I have read the research, honey child. This is how people get it wrong. They have been women who have been raped by somebody. You give them a lineup and they said, that's him and that not him. When they finally find a person that they don't look nothing like that, and they're like, how could you get this wrong? You need unreliable. Thank you, Melanie. Melanie, straight A student today, honey child. Yes, eyewitnesses are unreliable, especially if they have sustained trauma. So when you're robbed and you're at a totally different level, you're not gonna remember what you think you're gonna remember. In fact, most victims hyper focus maybe on one or two little things. But a lot of people are so flustered, they're not gonna pick out the right person. They're gonna get it wrong. Seriously, go and read that book if you don't believe me. There's been tons of research done about why eyewitness testimony is so incredibly unreliable. And that's why every time the RCIPS be calling for eyewitness testimony, I'm like, do they know how unreliable eyewitness testimony is? I mean, not for nothing. There's a story in this book. Let me see if my Kindle, child, let me see if my Kindle books are available on this computer. I haven't read a good Kindle book in a minute. Shame on me. I've been trying to see it's updating, setting up and updating. It's been a minute. I have a hard book. I'm trying to decide if I should even bother taking that on vacation, because I take a book on vacation and never read it. But I am reading right now, Let Them. I made it to page like 2. Not very far. But hold on. Let me see here now. Let me check out. Yes, Kindle came right up, honey child. Can I show y'all my Kindle library? You're gonna learn a lot about me by seeing what I read. This is it. This is me in a nutshell. Okay? These are my books in my Kindle library. I am evidently a non-fiction person. I don't read. Oh, I need to read my Glucose Revolution book. Oh, I have that one? Darn. I'd be ordering stuff on Amazon and my book collection. Don't even know what I have. So the Well-Spoken Thesaurus, that is my latest one. The Let Them theories, I have it. Oh, well, if I have it electronically, I'm not taking the hard book. I have the hard one too. The Courage to Be Disliked, In Order to Live. These are amazing books. How I Lost 100 Pounds Successfully. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet either. Anyway, these are great books. ChatGPT Bible, I haven't read that one. Oh, Pepper Pig, The Richest Man of Babylon. So, I read stuff for like work, and here's one about the psychology of fake news. Y'all sit there thinking that I don't know what's going on. I love the No BS series. These are amazing. If you've never heard of them, go check them out. Journalism, some of my journalism handbooks, English legal system. Yeah, the elements of journalism. So, I'll be reading my stuff. I got a lot of No BS books. See, 2 here, 2 more here. Baby signs. So, this when you're going through your baby stuff. What to expect in the first year. My diabetes book, Spanish. Oh, I have a Spanish phrase book in here. Oh, I better start practicing my Espanol again. I didn't even know I had that. Anyway, I know I have the gorilla book in here. Aha, you see? I knew it was in my book here. How do I open it again? It's been a minute, honey child. Let me see. Open book. Dun, dun, dun. Listen, you got to read this book because it talks about an incident in here with the police. And this is why sometimes even when police get it wrong, they're eyewitnesses. Y'all think, well, the police officer said he saw it. Surely he must have known what he saw. Child, do not take that to the bank. You cannot believe eyewitnesses. And there's a really, really important story in here about an incident that happened where a guy got, I can't remember him getting killed, but I think he was seriously injured. And it talks about how that's even possible. We believe certain things that are actually false, completely false. And you know, it's funny because we have such faith in our memory and the things that we remember and how we remember them. But this book and the experiments that have happened, the invisible gorilla experiment, which they've done time and time again in different settings, has proven that your memory is actually not as good as you think. Very few people, now there are some people, but this is an anomaly, that recall things. They're about less than 1% of the population. I forget what that is called now, but they actually recall things precisely. Like their mind is a recorder. It is constantly recording stuff. I am telling you, Sia, you might think, you say it's BS. I want you to go and look at the research. The research will tell you that your brain, that's why they call it a fallacy, your brain does not recall things as well as you think. So they give the gorilla experiment as an example. And that is where they send a gorilla, they tell you to sit down and watch someone with a basketball hoop. And your goal is to count how many times like the ball bounces or whatever. And in the middle of that, at one point, they send a person dressed in a gorilla suit right in the middle of the video. The vast majority of people, when they go back, they say, did you see anything unusual? No. They do not see the gorilla at all, right? So see what they say, as we predicted, this increased by 20% the number of people missing an unexpected event. So you miss it. Making the counting task harder requires people to devote more attention to it, leaving fewer mental resources available to see the gorilla. As we use more of our limited attention, we are that much less likely to notice the unexpected, right? The problem is with consuming a limited cognitive resource, not withholding the phone, for example. And most important, as the incredulous reactions of our study participants demonstrate, most of us are utterly unaware of this limit on our awareness. Experiment after experiment has shown no benefit whatsoever, this is interesting, for hands-free phones over handheld phones. In fact, legislation, that they're talking about this specific thing, but legislation banning the use of handheld phones might even have the ironic effect of making people more confident that they can safely use a hands-free phone while driving. So there's a lot of things that we do in life that we are an autopilot for. And when you test somebody's memory about what they saw from what they didn't see, it is completely inaccurate. That is why you need a dash cam when you drive. Yeah. Because you will swear, listen, it happens to me all the time. I'm driving. This is distracted driving, but still, I'm just hands on the wheel, not talking to anybody. I'm like, okay, I'm paying attention. I go from my house all the way in town. Ask me what I saw along the way. People are always like, oh, I'm waving at you, and you don't wave at me. I'm like, I didn't see you. I'm looking at that line and trying to stay in the middle. So I'm not seeing anything. You got to go and see this invisible gorilla experiment. Now, the most interesting thing, let me see, how do I search? There's a whole thing in here about the police. Yeah, you gotta go and read this whole story, right? The illusion of attention, and this is what you think, because you think, oh my God, if you're being robbed, surely you're going to know who robbed you and what they look like, and then you'll be able to give an accurate description. No, you won't. And so there actually is a story in here that they start out with where police officers were engaged in a chase, and one guy got in the chase, and they all had to give statements. And when it went to court, they were wondering, how on earth is it that their statements are so incredibly different? One guy ran by, they ended up beating up the wrong guy is what it was, right? But one guy ran by the police officer on the ground, and he was like, no, there was no police officer. He never saw him because he was so hyper focused and chasing somebody in a black suit. Turns out, I think that was the wrong guy or whatever, and they end up beating him up. The illusion of attention is so ingrained and pervasive that everyone involved in the case of Kenny Conley, go read this book, I'm telling you, it's very interesting, was operating under a false notion of how the mind works. The mistaken belief that we pay attention to and therefore should notice and remember much more of the world around us than we actually do. Conley himself testified that he should have seen the brutal beating of Michael Cox had he actually run past it. In their appeal of their conviction, Conley's lawyers tried to show that he hadn't run past the beating, that the testimony about his presence near the beating was wrong, and that descriptions of the incident from other police officers was inaccurate. All of these arguments were founded on the assumption that Connolly could only be telling the truth if he didn't have the opportunity to see the beating. But what if instead, in the cul-de-sac on Woodruff Way, Conley found himself in a real-life version of our guerrilla experiment? He could have been right next to the beating of Cox, and so focused his eyes on it without actually ever seeing it. Right? Conley was worried about Smut Brown scaling the fence and escaping, and he pursued his suspect with a single-minded focus that he described as tunnel vision. Conley's prosecutor ridiculed the idea, saying that what prevented Conley from seeing the beating was not tunnel vision, but video editing, a deliberate cropping of Cox out of the picture. But if Connolly was sufficiently focused on Brown in the way our subjects were focused on counting the basketball passes, it is entirely possible that he ran right past the assault and still failed to see it. So this is his whole concept. You got to read this book. It is fascinating, right? He eventually got his appeal overturned and blah, 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 blah. But this is the idea that there's a lot of things in our world that we simply do not see, despite the fact that we think we do. Okay? We are on autopilot. And so it explains a lot. That's why when you're on a bicycle and you get licked down, just like this accident the other day, right? It's possible, unfortunately for the young man, he was over the limit, but it's possible that he never saw the guy until the very last minute. And there are things that distract you. Listening to the radio, you're on the phone. Maybe he knew he had a few more drinks, so he's like, okay, just drive straight. No curves, no nothing. And he just never saw the guy. The evidence is there that every day we traverse our lives and don't see a good portion of what's happening around us. Oh, Aniki Hill, put this in your book club, girl. This is such an amazing book. You see? The idea that we can look but not see. Listen carefully to this now. Let me pull this back up on the screen because this is such a good line. It was such a good line that I actually highlighted it. This is what I like about my electronic books channel. I highlighted it. So, see what it says here? The idea that we can look but not see is flatly incompatible with how we understand our own minds. And that mistaken understanding can lead to incautious or overconfident decisions. Looking without seeing. It's amazing. And they say, listen, when we say that you're looking without seeing, we don't mean anything abstract or vague or metaphorical. We literally mean that you're looking right at something and you do not see it. So, and they talk about the whole thing with pedestrians and how, unfortunately, when you are in a vehicle, as a pedestrian, drivers don't see you the way that you think. That is why you have got to wear light-colored clothing, blinkers, jackets at night. That's why all those things are important, because it focuses them to all of a sudden like, what is that blinking thing, right? It forces them to see you. And even then, they still may not see you. Our eyes visually can look at something and we do not see it. It's an excellent book. I highly recommend it. And I've got a lot of good books in my collection, as you can rightfully see. And y'all need to read that one. Let me tell you what else is really good. Oh gosh, oh my God, so many. The Sayings of Confucius. Here's one on Common Sense by Thomas Paine. Oh, such a great book. Law School Fast Track. Well, we did that, been there, done that. It wasn't Fast Track, but anyway. I read part of Steve Harvey's book, Transdermal Magnesium Therapy. Child, I've been to all sides. Pleadings Without Tears. Oh, I don't remember. What is this one about? A Guide to Legal Drafting. Oh, that was when I was in law school. I don't think it was that far. But anyway, Contract Law, Equity and Trust. Yes, sir. Anywho, Social Media Addiction. That's a good one. Add that to your list. Some good books in here, honey chill. I do feel like I need to update this though, because I feel like there's more here that I simply haven't. Oh, I need to be ordering some more books. I think while I'm on vacation, I'm going to continue to read Let Them, The Well-Spoken Thesaurus. And then Gigi, she's starting to read some of her books. These are the Dork Diaries, OMG, All About My Diary. Now, she tends to listen. Her dad makes her listen to audiobooks. But I want her to have physical books, because up to a certain age, physical books are actually really, really important. But anyway, praise the Lord for Kindle. Isn't that nice? Good morning, Miss Faith and Hope. Good morning, Marco. How are you? Anisha Brown says, good morning. Can you please reach out to the relevant authority about the mosquitoes in Swamp, Georgetown, before they take us away? And we can't even come out of the car in peace. We open our doors. Child, that's a Lorene that we had the other day. I'll send it to the MRCU people, but honey child, that's what rain does. It makes the mosquitoes come out, and you'll see them around fairly soon, I guess. Okay, let me see what this is now. Oh, the tow truck is on location for the car. Thank you so much for giving us the blow by the blow. This person said, Sandra. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So somebody says, I'm on location. The blood is still on the sidewalk this morning. Oh my God. What? I'm on location. I'm understanding he robbed a speakeasy. What the hell is a speakeasy? I mean, I know what a speakeasy is, but y'all still using these terms, talking about speakeasies? That's so 1930s, before my time. The speakeasy is run by a Honduran lady named Kat, which involves gambling, number selling, and illegal alcohol sales. It's easy to see no drug seller is here this morning. Yes, sir. I wonder if the drug sellers feel like the police will be back this morning. Oh, this could have been prevented if the police were proactive. I'm not too sure about that. What I will say is, there's only so much the police can do. You can't have police every single place all the time. I'm just saying. Someone said MRCU is actually out doing rounds. They were just in my development in Windsor Park. So they're on it, honey child. The mosquito people soon come. They'll help you out. No worries. But yeah, police can't be, we don't have enough police to be everywhere a million times. They said it was reported to DCI and police. Okay. They go there one day, they try to shut it down. And then the next day, they're back again. Police would have to sit there all the time, and then they're going to move to a different location. They do need to tighten up the laws on what they can do to people who continually break the law like this. So when they catch them the first time, give them some good jail time, and that's a good deterrent. Maybe. Some of these people don't even care, but it might help. All right. I always wondered how they do it. I remember a case where the victim got the color of the bandana wrong and the perp got off. I'm telling you. And the lawyers know it. The defense lawyers know how this works. And so they go in there and they will test eyewitnesses. And then all of a sudden eyewitnesses start to falter like, oh, like one eyewitness said, remember even the Scotia bank robbery? One person's like, oh, the mask was this color and it was this and da-da-da. And he had a backpack and da-da-da-da. And the other person's like, no, he never had no backpack. And he looked like this. And it's like, so y'all can't even agree. That's the fallacy of your memory. You think your memory's so good. And this is precisely why modern technology is so critical to even policing. I am an advocate, of making sure our police officers have, for their own protection, they have, what do you call them? Cameras. Yeah. They have cameras in their vehicles, all this kind of stuff. It protects all parties involved. Have a dash cam, recording 24/7 when they're on duty. Someone said, I saw the gorilla in college. They showed the video. I was so confused because once again, oh yes, this is my friend. So he still works HSA. See, he's brown. I couldn't have tell you that before today. I mean, I just know he was one of us in terms of like, okay, he a Caribbean man. Big shout out to Sean. Somebody said he had a band called, hold on, somebody was just telling me about the band. Thank you guys so much for always being on target. Hold on. Let me show you what he looks like so you guys know exactly who. If you see him, tell him I said hello. And then I always used to look forward to seeing him in the lab. Yep, there he is. That's him. So it says that, yep, that's Sean Clark. Very nice person. And he had a band called, hold on, somebody just sent it to me. Where's the message about the band? Juveniles band back in the 80s. And then somebody else told me something. Oh, yes. They said, oh, no, hold on. Where did that message go? See, even messages I don't see. Y'all think you're messaging people and they saw you. You're like, you saw my message. I'm like, probably not. Someone said police can't prevent crime. There's just too many lawless people. All right. Let me just see here now. Hold on. Somebody, I know I saw a message. Somebody. Somebody just sent me something about his band. Oh yes. No, that's not the message. Oh Lord. The male at the blood bank is not Sean Clark. The male you're talking about that takes blood is very good. I went to give blood for the first time and the others could not find a vein. No, I'm talking about this guy. Is he Sean Clark? Because I don't know who else y'all talking about. There's somebody says, yes, morning, Sandy. Sean is a Caymanian. Well, I don't know why. All this time I thought he was a nice little Jamaican fella. And he's in a band. Now that you say that, I kind of feel like maybe I've seen him again, the fallacy of the mind. I feel like maybe I've actually seen him performing somewhere too. And it just never triggered that was the guy from the lab. Somebody says, morning. Sean Clark is Caymanian. I grew up with him. He was the bass player for the reggae band Tabia with Jean-Eric Smith, Lloyd, and Hubert Campbell. This was back in the 80s. That's him, yes.
Somebody else was giving me some details on this band, but I can't find the message now. Oh, somebody says, can you please discuss this before I have to stop listening? I'm at work now. Oops. That was from 8:46. Sorry. You might have to stop listening already. I'm sorry. You'll have to hit that rewind button later on. Good morning, caller. But I will discuss this now.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
Hey, morning, honey child. How you doing?
All right. I'm glad that I'm calling the best.
You're calling the best?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I'm calling the best from the West.
Oh, this my friend from the West.
Yeah.
Aha.
So now what I say, I want to open up a little narrative here about a call that I picked up here on few days back. Now this lady called OC. Now the reason I was listening because you had just gone off the air. So you see what happens when you goes off the air, I goes on to OC and see what his narrative is.
Okay, all right.
But I like how my ear to the ground, don't care walk around it is.
Yes,
so,
sir.
This lady, she called in on a subject that is near and dear to my heart. That was pertaining to the cynical indigent insurance policy. And well, put a long story short, she never really had that much. She really never had any flattering to say about them. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And I was it was so poignant to me because her observations of the issue was the same as mine.
Oh gosh.
Now, if there's any way that I could get in contact with her, I would like to.
Okay.
But going on to continue on, Now, most people refer to it as cynical indigent insurance policy, right? My experience has led me to refer to it as the indigent cynical indigent insurance policy. Because I asked a few people, I brought the subject to a few people and they said, well, you know, they got, it's more than cynical has a few different levels. They say, I think they mentioned the number 4. They say 4 different levels of indigent insurance, but all of it is under the umbrella of indigent. But you got the top rung, which is the senior civil servants and things. And, you know, those in the category of a soon departing deputy governor, in those type of brackets, right? It's hard for me to believe. Now, cynical and HSA calls all at the different levels now, if it is 4. Indigent. But that is not indigent. Those levels are not the same in practice. Not by my experiences. Unless they just have me singled out for special treatment. So if you're getting something free, specifically from government, but I tell you what, you can probably do without that. And the cynical, this is the opinion, and this is what I think. And remind me before I leave, I tell you a story about the power of thought and thinking and things, right? So, in my experiences, I can't really say anything flattering about the indigent cynical policy. But talking about the difficulty that people seem to be experiencing up on HSA about getting blood, about having blood taken from them. Well, I went there one day. I had some kind of cyst in the back way during my neck. And I checked in. when I checked in, it wasn't that much people. I mean, the place was almost full because you know how Cayman is today.
Mm-hmm.
You got four corners, the hot one, yeah, right? So when I checked in, I was expecting to wait for an hour and a half, something like that. But then I noticed that this doctor, he was calling in people that came there after me. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
after about 2.5 hours, I went and saw another doctor that I went through the door. When they opened the door, I went inside and talked to this doctor. I didn't know which doctor was to see me, but I talked to this doctor that I knew from down West Bay Clinic. And he said, yeah, well, I'm not the one to do this, but he soon get there. So again, back on and waited again. Finally, he came out and said, all right, come on. But that time, I don't know, I almost turned around and left because I don't know what kind of plan he had for me. So
Mm-hmm.
I went inside. I had on a shirt. He said, take it off. I tell you, son, up in there was so cold. Up in there was so cold. That you don't find in a week. He could have cut that out of me without anesthesia. Up in there was so cold. I wouldn't have felt it.
Mm-hmm.
And when my blood, up in there was so cold, I don't think my blood was even flowing. They couldn't find the vein. He messed up on that. Then he started cutting.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have thought, say, well, after he cut it out, now I asked him, I said, well, you started yet? He said, no, I finished. And he held up this mass of flesh, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said, see, this is it. And I was asking, I said, well, bring it a little closer, make tell me something about it or something.
Mm-hmm.
He took and put it down the garbage pan. And I would have thought, say, well, even though he said that it was, something that size, I thought they would put it through the test, test it.
Yes.
And make, of course, I never heard no more about that. So that is my opinion. I joined that lady in her opinion. And I would like to get in contact with her. So if she listening, she having an idea how to get to me before I get to her, I would like her to. But I tell you about they told me about these two old guys, right? Now these two old guys, now when I say old guys, I'm not talking about in age, I'm talking about in time. The old people, when I refer to them, is from my grandmother's generation back. And I'm 55, right? So you go figure. But these two guys now, they had a land dispute. And this was before cadastral survey. They used to mark the land by this, from this coconut tree to that juniper tree to that logwood tree and so forth, right? They had a land dispute. And Mr. A, we call him Mr. A, Mr. B. Call Mr. B, Mr. B, a son of a bitch. And that, was...
Yeah, just a reminder, we still on radio for another 5 minutes, so certain words you can't use, because then off-reg gonna be calling me.
Yeah, that was grounds for a court case. So he went to court. They say he went to court and went before the judge. The judge said, you call Mr. B, ISOB. Say yes. He said, so you admit that you called him? ISOB say yes. So he said, well, how do you plead guilty? Say yes. So okay, you can see and you can I find you guilty and you pay the clerk on your bill the amount of £5. So he went to the door. He had a fair hat in his hand. He went to the courtroom door. He said, post it open. He turned around. He said, Your Honor, tell me something. He must have heard something about these human rights and civil rights. And he said, can you charge a man for what he thinks? He said, no. The judge said, no, that's in the human rights laws that you can't have that's freedom of conscience. He said, well, Your Honor, you know what I think?
Be careful with your language. I'm sure he can say something worse.
I still believe that Mr. B is a SOB and walk her to the door. So, not always the educated that wins the day, but in Cayman it might be so. All right, you have a good day.
What a mess, my dear. Thank you very, very much.
All right.
All right. What a hot mess. If you're the lady that he's looking for that apparently called OC, so talking about Cynical, please give him a call. By the way, I'm sure that Cynical could do a better job of informing people about their products, because not all Cynical just doesn't do indigent policies alone. They do other things. So the coverage that civil servants have is not the indigent coverage. So that's probably why y'all are getting a little bit confused here. So it is a different coverage, in fact. But yeah, they have different policies. So they do have one for civil servants and pensioners. There's another one for seafarers and veterans. And then there's an actual SHIC plan where you can get, coverage there. So and I guess indigent, although I don't see that on here, that's probably a different plan yet again. So reach out to Cynical. I mean, this is where they need to now step up to the plate and educate the people. Good morning. Yes. So apparently the band, he was also founding member of the band Juveniles, Notch, Lloyd, Hubert, and Barry Campbell, Sean Clark, where the founding members of that band listened to the song Mystical Lady. Okay. Thank you guys so much. Apparently young men forming a band. Wow, that's fantastic. All right. So there is something that is circulating this morning that I want to show you guys. I'm being told that these are vapes with THC that are being sold to students at John Gray High School. So parents, this is your alert now that you guys need to be paying attention to. This person has the audacity to advertise on social media, and they are called, the social media name is Drugged Prodigy. They say JGHS exclusive, John Gray High School exclusive. And then they tell you that it's enhanced with THCP. 2 draws, which is a 2 milligram pen, is going for $3. 1 draw, I don't even know what a draw means. But anyway, that's going for $2. This product is called Smacked. What did I say? No nasty business cleaning with alcohol after a people use. So a draw meaning that you get 1 draw down on it, as in you get a puff or whatever. Are you puffing? I guess you're inhaling it. So that's 1 draw for $2 and 2 draws for $3. That's what this means. What kind of nonsense is this? Yeah, draw is a deep breath. Okay, I got it now. When I saw this, but no nasty business cleaning with alcohol after people use. Ew. Yuck. So this is what your kids are getting into at school instead of learning? Parents, be vigilant with your children. I hate to say it, but based on some of this foolishness that I see going on around, clearly, it's a type of situation where parents need to be vigilant with what their kids have in their backpack. The schools need to be vigilant, Oh my gosh. Do these kids realize how harmful vaping is to their health? It's horrible. It is not any better, and in fact, might even be worse than smoking a traditional cigarette. You get popcorn lungs, you get all sorts of foolishness. Wow. No, sir. It's deplorable. Looks like children packaging too. Well, it's certainly, this goes to, I don't know who these companies are that make this stuff, but this certainly does beg the question of how it is being marketed to look like something that, you know, children would be attracted to. Somebody says it belongs right next to the candy. It certainly looks that way, doesn't it? That's why, again, you know, parents, make sure you're paying attention. Wow. Horrible. All right, we'll post it up to try and warn y'all. Parents, you've got to be vigilant. That's the best advice I can tell you. So this person chimed in and said, the band always practiced at the Campbell's home on North Sand Road across from A.L. Thompson's next to the Humane Society. I grew up with Sean and the Campbell boys, and they were all amazing men. Nice. Some other feedback here this morning says, you really don't know what high yellow means. It's a pejorative term for a light-skinned Black person designed to denigrate the Caucasian genetics. Huh. Really? No, I'm not familiar with it. To be honest, I've only ever heard a few Caymanians say it. And the way in which he was saying it, he was like, I guess trying to give himself a pat on the back. Like, oh, me and my hair yellow behind. Like, that's a good thing. I'm just like, whatever. I don't even know. To me, it doesn't really matter. What do you all identify as? You know, everybody's talking about, oh, I identify as a he, a she, a it, whatever. I identify as high yellow. I identify as high brown. I identify as chocolate brown. No. I identify as Dubai chocolate brown. I'm just like, what the hell? I can't keep up with y'all. I don't know. I just identify as human. Can we just identify as a human being? Draw equals a puff. Yes. When I was reading that, I was like, is that what they're talking about? Ew, that's so nasty. Sharing a vape. Vaping. Definitely report this to the RCIPS. Maybe they can trace the account to an email. Child, please. Child, I got it at 10 o'clock. I got to get to town for. I don't know. When it comes to tracing stuff by social media, it would have to be a capital murder case for them to want to contact Instagram or Meta to go through all that, my dear. This, they probably not going to really care about. But I'll post it up. Yeah. Just type in my little social media caption. Y'all do not want to be vaping. Trust me. And especially when your little lungs that young, y'all are setting yourselves up for a lifetime of worry. Ooh, young people, take it from me. Value your health. And I don't smoke or I don't drink. You know what somebody said to me? Oh, Dr. David said this yesterday. He said, well, with the type of, what do you call them? Veins that you have, it's a good thing you're not a smoker because you probably would have had a heart attack and be dead by now. And I said, really? He said, yeah, because smoking makes your veins collapse even more. There's a lot of damage to your circulatory system and stuff like that. Oh, don't get engaged in all this bad behavior, folks. Smoking and drinking and all this kind of stuff. It ain't good for you. Aisle 2025 says parents in Cayman have dropped the ball. They don't care or get involved. Y'all better keep up. You got to talk to your kids. You got to listen to your kids. Oh my goodness. Abby says this is like bringing vodka and selling it by the shot. The kids these days are different. I know, right? Weird, but still. Jim says, Sandy, you can preach and preach, but sadly it falls on deaf ears many times. There's some parents with no time with their kids interested in what their kids are up to. What a mess. Irvin says, I identify as me, right? Send it to Ralston. We'll let him know because they're going to have to really start checking these kids. U.S. is canceling visas for people who, quote unquote, celebrate Charlie Kirk's death. U.S. Secretary of State. America's, can I just tell y'all? America's dumb. Somebody says identify as a camel. America has just dumbed themselves down to the point where it is redunculous. Oh, Lord. They claim they're for free speech, but then heaven forbid your free speech, your opinion should be something they don't like. Then all of a sudden they're taking away visas. They're firing people from their jobs. They're dumb, and dumbest right there in America. But, you know, look at who y'all hired as your top guy. Just saying. You get what you get. You get what you wanted. Honey chill. What a mess. Oh, I don't know if they'll get any brighter or what gonna happen, honey chill. All right, I gotta go because I do have another doctor's appointment today. No blood today, thank God. Oh my God, I couldn't manage. I'd be like, what? All right, I'll post a cautionary message about the whole vaping thing. You gotta know what your children are up to. So everything from THC, aka marijuana, impacts their young brains. It impacts people, and I don't care what y'all want to say. Oh, Sandra, that natural stuff. Yeah, so is cocaine, but I would encourage y'all to go out there and try that. It can be found in nature, but there are all sorts of chemicals and stuff that are added to these drugs. Parents, stay vigilant. Know what is happening with your children. Please, I beg you. You gotta care. That's your job. Otherwise, keep your legs closed and don't have them. We'll report it to the school authorities so that maybe they can have a look as well. And, yeah, we need to try to keep our kids safe as much as we possibly can. All right, beautiful people, tomorrow's Thursday. We're one day closer to Friday. Now, I'm going to do a Friday show only because my flight is later in the day, and I'm thinking about y'all. I'm like, oh, I don't want them to miss me too much. I'll give you one extra day. But as of Monday, I'm off for 2 weeks. I am back on the 6th. I want y'all to be good while I'm gone. Keegan254 says, hello, ma'am. Give me a shout out. Okay. Good morning, sir. How are you? Yes, we talked about the shooting earlier. Hit the rewind button. Jim says, no, Sandy, there are some people in America, the parties swing the same, just in different directions. Well, I don't care who's swinging with what these days. They all kind of stupid, to be honest. There's too much stupidity. And that's in the extremists. Al Ray says, go Trump. Al Ray, I'm surprised you're a Trump supporter. I got to be honest with you. Because, I mean, you and your high yellow behind probably wouldn't be too accepted by Trump and his folks. I'm just saying. Honey, chill. But anyhow, go on through. You can support him if you want. That's your business. What a hot mess. All righty then. We good? Y'all be good. Behave yourselves. I'm going to post the video on social of the, oh yeah, somebody else sent it with the car jackass. I want to know how in tarnation this BMW ended up in the ocean. I really want to know. What were they smoking or drinking last night? Oh my God. Trying to get some insurance money. What? Wow. Pretty wild. All righty. Okay. All right. Let me see here now. Not the camel. Oh, caramel. Oh, I'm sorry. The person said, I identify as caramel and I saw camel. I was like, I thought it was weird though. I was like, you identify as a camel? I'm like, oh, okay. Whatever floats your boat. Years ago, folks, all upset cigarettes were being marketed to children. Now this, identifying as a color, a gender, a religious entity is trading in your soul for stiletto. Is that stiletto? No. Silhouette? Child, I need to get my eyes checked. Hi. Waiting for the real show. You have us waiting. Kiss my teeth. What? Oh, about Victor. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I have to start doing some show notes so I don't get distracted by so much stuff. I forgot all about Victor. But tomorrow is another day. I'll get back to Victor tomorrow. Wasting government money. That's an important discussion. Thank you, Irvelyn. What should say? Enjoy your your vacation. Please don't come back here pregnant. Child. Slim to none. This person said, you said that yesterday. They were taking a skinny dip. I'm sorry. Oh God, y'all gonna fire me soon. Lord have mercy. Y'all gonna fire me like how y'all fired Austin and Elio. I'll do better. I promise. Oh my Lord. I can't even. Okay. Tomorrow we will start out talking about Victor. If I start talking about one other thing, y'all stop me dead in my tracks and say, no. This person said, kiss my friggin' teeth. Okay, I promise tomorrow we'll talk about Victor. Lord Jesus. Okay. Got distracted. I'm so sorry. All right, gotta go. Gotta make my appointment time. Have a beautiful day. See you guys tomorrow. Be good. Okay. Oh, Kirks. Goodbye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.